Greetings, curious minds! Most people scroll past Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite. Big mistake. At just 25 cents per million tokens, it's the cheapest frontier-quality model with genuine agentic capabilities. And production teams are quietly switching to it right now. But here's what nobody's talking about. This little model might be the most strategically important release of the year. Let me show you why. Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite launched May 7th. And it's Google's answer to a very specific problem. High-volume, cost-sensitive AI tasks. Think agents, pipelines, batch processing. Work that needs to happen thousands of times a day without racking up a fortune in API bills. The numbers are striking. At 25 cents per million input tokens and $1.50 per million output tokens, it's not just cheap, it's dramatically cheaper than the competition. GPT 5.5 runs about $15 per million. Claude Opus sits around $15 as well. Flash-Lite, a fraction of that. But price alone isn't the story. What makes this interesting is the agentic capability Google has threaded into it. Function calling, structured outputs, and a massive 1 million token context window that lets you throw entire code bases at it without breaking a sweat. Here's what has the industry whispering. With 363 tokens per second output speed, Flash-Lite isn't just affordable. It's fast. We're talking 46% faster than Gemini 2.5 Flash. That's a serious speed upgrade at a ridiculous price point. Let's talk performance, because cheap means nothing if the quality isn't there. On standard benchmarks, Flash-Lite holds its own. It's not going to top the leaderboard against Opus 4.7 or GPT 5. 5 on complex reasoning tasks. That's not what it was built for. But for the workloads that actually dominate production environments, the math changes dramatically. Consider a realistic agentic pipeline. 50 tool calls, medium context windows, structured outputs. Running that on GPT 5. 5 costs roughly $8 to $12 per thousand tasks. Flash-Lite handles the same workload for under 50 cents for high-volume use cases, customer service automation, content moderation, document processing, data extraction. Flash-Lite's cost advantage becomes a strategic differentiator. But here's what the benchmarks actually show. Flash-Lite beats GPT 5 mini on science benchmarks, 86.9% versus 82.3% on GPQA Diamond, multimodal understanding, 76.8% versus 74.1% on MMMU Pro, and factuality, 43.3% versus 9.5% on Simple QA. And here's what my research showed. The model handles long context retrieval with unusual grace. We're talking 60% accuracy at 128K token context. That's genuinely competitive with models costing 10 times more. So who is Flash-Lite actually for? If you're running a startup and every cent counts, this is your workhorse. If you're building internal tools and need to process thousands of documents daily, Flash-Lite makes that economically viable in ways that weren't possible a year ago. For developers building agentic pipelines, the kind of systems that chain multiple AI calls together, the cost math is finally sustainable. You can run your pipeline thousands of times for what used to cost you once. The teams I've seen adopt Flash-Lite aren't settling for less. They're being strategic. They're choosing a model that does exactly what they need, reliably at a price that scales. But let me be clear about something. This isn't a toy. Flash-Lite is production-grade infrastructure. The latency is genuinely low, the function calling is solid, and Google's backing it with proper enterprise support. This is a serious tool wearing a modest price tag. Where does Flash-Lite sit in the model landscape? It's not competing with flagship models on capability. It's competing on economics. Think of it as the sensible choice for sensible problems. The models that matter for complex reasoning, multi-turn dialogue, and cutting-edge tasks still have their place. But for the unglamorous work that keeps the internet running, Flash-Lite is very hard to beat. Key takeaways. Price point is genuinely disruptive for production AI. Agentic capabilities are real, not marketing. Best for startups, high-volume pipelines, cost-conscious teams. not for cutting-edge research or complex reasoning benchmarks. If you're building something that needs to run at scale without burning through your runway, Flash-Lite deserves your attention. It's the model that makes AI for everyone actually work. That's the picture on Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite, Google's quiet little powerhouse that's making production AI actually sustainable at scale. Whether you're a startup founder watching every cent, a developer building agentic pipelines, or just someone who likes getting more value for less money, this model has something for you. Give it a look. The link in the description will take you to Google's documentation, pricing details, and everything you need to get started. That's all for today, curious minds. Catch you in the next one. I'll see you in the next one.